to Dad Knows. All right, stop me if you've heard this before. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. None of you stopped me. Have you not? Oh, it's a video. That's right. You can't stop me. Okay. So yes, I hope you've all heard this before. What we're talking about today is, in fact, the Declaration of Independence. All right. So you're probably thinking, Greg, what does the pirate ship have to do with the Declaration of Independence? Nothing. It has nothing to do with the Declaration of Independence. We've just used this in the last 2 videos. I felt like we were going to hurt the pirate ship's feeling if we didn't have it in this video. So, all right, say bye to the pirate ship. Anyway, so we've been building up to this the last few weeks. We had Columbus discovering the New World. Then we had the Mayflower Compact, which was kind of an early intro into how society might be in America. Then we had the Boston Tea Party, which was kind of a quick look into how the colonists were building their society and starting to feel like they wanted to break away or protesting some things were written. Well, today we're going to get to the Declaration of Independence. So we have a special guest with us here today. We're going to have Thomas Jefferson, who's just instrumental in the creation of the Declaration of Independence, and among many other things. He's got a whole list of great things about him. We're going to have him come in. The time reader is going to bring him to us. But before we bring him out, we're going to have to do a quick word from our sponsors. Spending your summer declaring independence in an unair-conditioned room with 55 other men, all of whom have questionable bathing habits? Phew! That smells funky. Thankfully, there's Franklin's Funk Away. One spray and that funk goes away. Thomas, are you there?
I am.
Oh, thank you. Come on out, Mr. President. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Are you? He doesn't know about the president thing yet. Okay, forget I said anything about president. So, Thomas Jefferson, you, one of the creators of the Declaration of Independence. Thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome.
So, you were the main author. Were there other people that worked with you on it?
Council of 5 that helped me write
Yes.
with it.
Okay, Committee of 5. So, who were those guys in the Committee of 5? I know we had John Adams, who's also going to be a president. So John Adams of Massachusetts. Can he hear me when I'm, maybe he can hear me, I shouldn't say that. Okay. Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania, also a very important guy. And then Roger Sherman of Connecticut and Robert Livingston of New York, who, frankly, I've never really heard much about, but there are some pretty cool things about those guys. Roger Livingston of New York is actually the guy who helps negotiate the Louisiana Purchase later on. Again, I should probably tell you earmuffs, but anyway, we'll give him a mind pipe when we're done here. So later on, in his presidency, Robert Livingston is going to negotiate the Louisiana Purchase. All right. Roger Sherman of Connecticut is the only man. So he's in this. This is the Second Continental Congress going on right now. But they had the First Continental Congress started back in 1774, and they agreed on something called the Continental Association, which was like the colonies were all kind of boycott British goods to protest against. So they all signed that, right? Then after they signed the Declaration of Independence, which we're going to talk about today, then they had the Articles of Confederation, which were like kind of the first ruling body of our country when it was still fighting the British. And then we had the Constitution, okay? Roger Sherman of Connecticut is the only guy that signed all 4 of those documents. So that's a pretty cool thing, right? So I bet you wish you were as cool as him. No, you're cooler, way cooler. Jefferson's way cooler. Anyway, okay. So you wrote this Declaration of Independence. Let's talk about the timeline of that. So y'all started working on it on or around June 28th, 1776. And then Richard Henry Lee of Virginia had proposed a resolution that would basically declare independence. That was ratified on July 2nd, 1776. And then over the next 2 or 3 days, y'all put some of the final finishings on the draft of, look what I have here. Look, I have a copy of the Declaration of Independence. Look at this. A copy of, this is your work right here. Look at this. You can believe it? 200 years from now, people are going to go into gift shops and buy this stuff. Can you believe it? That's
What's
pretty
a
cool.
gift shop?
We'll get to it later. Anyway, so they all signed this, and then over the course of, actually it took several days to get everybody to sign it. Over the course of all that time, Then after that was signed, am I good? Am I still right? What's happening? Okay. Then after that, y'all went out and started fighting the British.
No,
right?
we were already fighting them like a year before.
Wait, you were fighting them again? Oh yeah, that's right. So like Lexington and Concord, those battles were April 19th, 1775, shot heard around the world and all that stuff, right? So, so you've been fighting for over a year. What made you decide to do the Declaration of Independence like a little over a year later? What happened?
Well, there were many reasons. One of the reasons was to get help from the French.
Okay.
Another one was to convince the colonists.
Oh, okay. So get help from the French. So like, because you guys, at this point, you're just a bunch of rebels, but you felt like if you declared independence, you might be maybe a legitimate government, and you could get some help from either the French or any other European powers, right? So luckily, the French are going to help. It's going to be a big deal. Now, we're going to pay them back big time later on for that help. We'll get to that later again. Also, so convince the neutrals. So like, what, 40 to 45% of the colonists, they were patriots with you guys, right? And then like maybe 20, 25% were loyal to the British Crown. That left another like 30, 35% that were neutral. So y'all were trying to convince them to get on your side. Is that right? Oh, okay, awesome. Did it work?
Yes.
Yeah, it did. So, well, we're sitting here today in the United States of America. So apparently it did work. So thank you for coming out and joining us today, Thomas Jefferson. I appreciate it. You like the Declaration of Independence, all kinds of other cool stuff. Anything else I should know about that you did?
Well, I made the swivel chair you're standing in right now.
You invented the swivel chair? Whoa, that is awesome. I did not know that about you. That is fantastic. All right. Thank you so much, Thomas. We're going to have a quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll come back to wrap it up. Got a declaration to sign, and you want your name to be huge? Come on down to Hancock's Huge Pen Co., and we'll solve all your huge pen needs. You can just put your name right there on something big so everybody can see it. Come on down to the Hancock Pen Co. Huge pens are us. All right, once again, thank you for visiting DadKnows today and watching our presentation on the Declaration of Independence. It was a great time today. We had Thomas Jefferson come by, tell us a little bit about it, what was going on. Also that he invented the swivel chair. Who knew? That's pretty cool. Declaration of Independence, huge day for our nation and really a big day for the world as far as important days in history. So there's tons of resources out there on that, books and websites online. You can research more. But I thank you for joining us. I do want to throw one more thing in before I leave. Thank you to my little girl for making this awesome DadKnows shirt for me, and also the blue one that I wore last week. So thank you to her for that, and thank you for watching.